Welcome to The Spill, Season 2, Episode 6. In Part 2 of this episode of The Spill, we'll be talking to a spa owner about waxing. So stay tuned for this very interesting discussion. And thank you so much to our sponsor, Anastasia, a cookbook by Victoria Matthew, Cohen George, and Ophelia George. Welcome to The Spill, Anna. It is a pleasure to have you on with me today in this second half of a very interesting episode on vaginal health and hygiene. Anna, for the people who do not know who you are, let them know who you are and what it is that.
Okay, thank you so much, Trudy, for having me on this spill. I am actually one of your viewers. I watch this spill very often. Well, yeah. So for persons who don't know who I am, my name is Anastasia Anselm. I am the owner of Body Bliss Spa and The Cave Barbershop and Spa. The Cave is a combination of a barbershop and a spa. And then for Body Bliss, we have a wide range of services that we offer, manicures, pedicure, massages, body scrub, facial, and of course, the famous waxing.
The famous waxing, okay. So it is really, in that regard that I wanted you to have this discussion with me on The Spill, because we're talking about caring for our bodies as women, and we spoke in the first half of this spill about vaginal health. Now I want to speak a little bit with you about the aesthetics, of the whole genital area of the woman. So let's talk about pubic hair for a bit. Are there any benefits to having pubic hair? That is a very tricky, conversation, because some people are all for hair, some people are not so much into hair. So are there any benefits of pubic hair?
So actually there are a wide range of benefits. And like you rightfully said, it's about preference. Okay. And as of lately, there has been a trend by quite a lot of celebrities where keeping your pubic hair is actually in compared to getting rid of it. But there are quite a lot of benefits of having pubic hair. Okay. For most the major benefit, I should say, is that of it prevents friction, or it reduces friction in terms of skin to skin. So with your partner, friction in terms of preventing rubbing against, if you have on maybe that nice sexy outfit or top or something like that. So it prevents friction. Then also too as well, your pubic hairs actually produce a specific type of oil called sebum. Okay. Now that sebum helps to prevent bacteria and pathogens from multiplying. Pubic hair serves purposes. Okay. But then also too as well, back in the day, it's not something, times have changed, but back in the day, pubic hair signified that you were ready for a mate. It meant that you were of age to take on a partner. You would see that, this person's pubic hair is coming in, so that means they are of age. But now, that's no longer necessary now.
Anna, that is so interesting, because yes, pubic hair does grow, after puberty. Well, it's one of the changes that occur with puberty. And interestingly, I have heard through this person's partner, I've heard of a man who says, if he's going to be with a woman, he wants her to have some hair, because that means she's a grown-up. He doesn't like the concept of no pubic hair, because that reminds him of a child. So that historical perspective of pubic hair signifying, being ready to have a sexual partner or mate. That is so interesting. But Anna, of course, you are the spa owner of Body Bliss Spa. You know that a lot of women want to remove some or all of that pubic hair. So can you tell me about some different waxing processes or procedures that you offer or that are offered to women to tame or remove the pubic hair? What can be done?
Okay, so we do have along the lines of waxing, there are a few different types of waxing methods that one can employ. So there is the use of hard wax, where hard wax does not utilize a strip or a cloth or a fabric to remove the wax. The wax is placed onto your skin. It's warm, cool to the touch, so it's not scorching hot. It's left to dry for a bit or harden, as we would say. And then after that, wax is removed. Then there is also soft wax, which is a lot more popular. So soft wax utilizes a fabric or a cloth for the wax to be removed because the wax is a bit sticky compared to hard wax. Then there is also sugaring too as well, which now a lot of people are now embracing sugaring or asking or requesting for sugaring. Sugaring is a bit more on the natural side. Sugaring is a mixture of a sugar and an acidic base, so like lime or lemon juice, that's combined, and then that is utilized. It can either be rolled onto your skin and then pull off with or without a strip. So it just depends on the preference of the therapist who is employing the method, or it depends on the client's preference. So we do have those three options that are available at Body Bliss Spa.
Okay, so all three are available at Body Bliss. Okay.
It just depends on your preference.
Okay. And in terms of the area which is waxed, what different options do you have in terms of waxes? I know you can do a Brazilian, for instance. Is there what else is offered in terms of types of waxes for the pubic area?
Apart from Brazilians, so like in terms of a bikini wax, so you can wax just the sides, basically. So bikini wax is just the sides, where hair would remove from anywhere that is visible. Let's say when you put on a bikini, to give you a better idea, if you put on a bikini, anything that is outside of that bikini would be removed. Now, times have changed, and with it, concepts of bikini has also changed too as well. So there's also an extended bikini wax, which goes a bit more in depth. So it goes a bit more inside compared to your regular bikini wax. Then there is the Brazilian, which is the removal of everything. So nothing is left behind.
Nothing is left behind.
No.
Okay. Anna, what is the most preferred or most requested wax among those three that you just mentioned? The bikini, the extended bikini, the Brazilian, that full throttle experience. Which one is most requested or asked, what do clients want?
Definitely the Brazilian. And as of late, we've also noticed that quite a lot of clients are now making it fun. They're owning it. So in terms of, they might request, can I have a landing strip, which is a thin strip of hair that is left behind. Sometimes we might do an arrow or a heart or the person's initials.
Wow.
So it's just actually getting like very interesting now, or a star. It just depends on the client's preference.
So people are bringing out their own individuality and style with the waxing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't even want to ask you, how do you shape that star or that arrow? Like, how do you outline it first before you wax? So how would you go about that though?
It depends. It depends on the area or the surface that we're working with. If I can clearly see clear cuts without a template that I can create a design, then yes. If I do have to create it, then I would have to outline it first and then wax around it. Yeah, but it can get creative.
This is news to me. Waxing must be quite... The job of the therapist must be quite interesting. That's all I'll say. Anna, let's talk a bit about the famous Brazilian wax. That experience that you mentioned where, everything is removed. I want a little more insight into what is everything. And I also want to know, if we are removing everything in a Brazilian, what is that pain level like for the clients? Or does it just depend? Let us know.
It truly depends. It depends on each individual, their threshold for pain. I will be honest, your first time it's a bit shocking or surprising because you've never had that experience before where all of your hair is removed, or as ladies like to say, snatched, where all of your hair is snatched away at some point. So for a lot of persons, it's a shocker in the beginning. But like I always tell clients, the pain lasts for 3 to 5 seconds, and then after that, it stops. Your first time is a bit more intense than all of the other times. After your first time, it gets a lot easier. By your 4th or 5th wax, you are a bit more relaxed, you're at ease. We've also had quite a lot of clients who, after their first experience, they're like, nope, I'm never doing this again. And then a few weeks later, they're like, oh, hi, I'd like to make an appointment.
Come back.
Please. Yes. It is very, the benefits outweigh the few minutes of pain, I should definitely say.
So what are the benefits? What are the benefits?
So of course, for a lot of persons, the benefits, the top benefit is that you do not have to shave for a few weeks. You don't need to take or pay attention in terms of your hair growth for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Everyone, their hair grows on a different cycle. So for some persons, it might take 4 weeks. Some persons, it might take 3 weeks. But average is between 4 to 6 weeks in between Brazilian waxing. Also, too, as well, you just have a smoother surface to deal with, which a lot of persons enjoy. Also, too, as well, after a while, so like for instance, shaving. When you shave, you cut the hair off at the surface. It is not removed from the follicle. And so when that hair grows back, that shaft or that hair, that follicle of hair, when it grows back a bit coarser. And so a lot of people would say that, when I shave, my hair grows back thicker, but it's not necessarily thicker. It's just because the shaft has been cut midway, it grows back a bit coarser. So of course, with waxing, because the hair is actually removed from the follicle, a new strand of hair has to grow back. And so that strand of hair is thinner. And then over a period of time, you then begin to notice that your hair becomes less and less because the hair is being pulled from the follicle. So you get less hair growth over a period of time in between your waxing. Also, too, as well, for a lot of persons, another benefit is just not having to deal with down there. I mean, the cuts, the bruises, trying to shave for yourself, the awkward positions, trying to have your partner help you out. So for a lot of persons,
that, just wax it and forget it.
Yes. That for a lot of persons most definitely helps. Also, too, as well, you have waxing also exfoliates your skin too as well. So that for a lot of persons is also a plus. You don't have to deal with stubble when the hair is growing back. For many persons, once you take care in between your waxing services, you don't have to deal with ingrowns as well. So those are some of the main benefits that persons really enjoy.
And let me just go back a bit to the pain. Is there any particular time of the woman's cycle, possibly, which is better for her to wax? Would that affect her pain level, if she gets waxed at a particular time of her cycle, her menstrual cycle?
Correct. So there is a specific time. Well, I won't say specific, but there is a time where you do feel a bit more pain, and that is 7 days before your cycle or 7 days after your cycle.
Okay.
So we usually recommend, if it's like your first time or within your first 5 times, try to avoid waxing during those periods.
Okay.
Because you are a bit more sensitive, and so it's not going to be a pleasant experience.
Okay.
But after the 5th, 6th time, you become a pro. So you really don't need to worry about that. Also, too, as well, you would find that quite a lot of persons, when they are pregnant, when they can no longer shave for themselves, they start to wax. And so they are extremely sensitive. So for them, sometimes hormones. It's not correct.
Okay.
It's not the best experience for it to be your first time when you're pregnant. Yes, because you're extremely sensitive down there. So
okay. Let's talk about after that wax. What should you not do? And I think that is important for maybe somebody who has never waxed before. Is there anything you should avoid after you get that Brazilian, for instance?
Yes, so there are quite a few guidelines that you do need to follow after you wax, because waxing, because the strand of hair is being removed from the follicle, that follicle is now open for the first 48 hours after you wax. So after you wax for the first 48 hours, it's not recommended that you visit a beach, a pool, a sulfur spring after the first 48 hours. Also, too, as well, you try to avoid using any scented creams, lotions, perfume sprays, vaginal sprays in that area after the first 48 hours. Also, too, as well, because your follicles are open, putting anything down there that is scented can give you an infection or lead to your skin being irritated. Also, too, as well, you do have for the first 24 hours, we recommend that you try to avoid anything that is too sweat, that would cause you to sweat too much, again, for irritation. Also, too, as well, in terms of sexual intercourse or oral sex, you do try to avoid it for the first 24 hours. Because your partner's saliva carries bacteria. And so because your follicles are open, you really don't want to expose yourself to an infection. It's rare that you get an infection, but it could happen.
It could happen.
Yeah, we've seen cases where persons have gotten an infection. So we just try, to be a bit cautious. Careful. Also, too, as well, in terms of wearing on tight clothing after the first 48 hours, that is also not recommended too, as well. It's not recommended to exfoliate after the first 48 hours. Within the first 48 hours, after the first 48 hours, then you can begin exfoliating. So like a gentle exfoliation at least 3 times for the week is recommended, just to help prevent that buildup of dead skin cells on your skin, so that your follicles are not inflamed after a period of time, which can lead to ingrowns too, as well. So those are generally the guidelines that we tell clients to follow, and no tight clothing for the first 48 hours.
Okay. So ladies, Anna has, given the guidelines, and I think some of those guidelines might be counterintuitive for a woman who has just gotten her Brazilian. It's nice and smooth, and we're saying avoid sexual intercourse at least for the first 24 to 48 hours. Don't go to the beach or the pool or the sulfur springs, after within that first 48 hours. So things that you might want to try because you're smooth, you might have to wait.
But you have 4 to 6 weeks to enjoy it. So 2 hours just to be on the safe side. Yeah, just to be on the safe side is completely recommended.
You never know. Somebody could be feeling so empowered and free, after they're Brazilian, that they might want to try everything you just said to avoid. So I am happy you kind of outlined what should be avoided. My next question is about waxing and shaving. So let's say a woman has begun waxing as her preferred, grooming method for her pubic hair. And she wants a waxing appointment. She wants to get an appointment for a wax. It's, ladies, there might be a special appointment that you need to go to and you want to be waxed, but you cannot get an appointment for whatever reason. Should she shave?
We try to encourage, it's a little bit tricky, but we try to encourage persons not to shave in between waxing.
Okay.
Because when you do shave between your waxing, then you start back all over from square one. In
back
terms
to
of
scratch.
That, correct. And so in terms of that nice thin hair, it becomes no more.
Okay.
And then also too as well in terms of the sensitivity level, because for some reason or the other, your hair has to start back. So that first time feels, or that first time feeling comes back all over again.
Okay.
So we usually recommend for clients not to shave in between waxing. But if you have, then you have to do what you have to do. We completely understand. But you then have to now wait another 4 to 6 weeks so before you can wax again. Because for the wax to be able to remove the hair, your hair has to be at least a quarter inch long.
Length.
Correct.
Okay.
And so approximately about the length of a rice grain, so a quarter inch for the wax to successfully bring the hair up from your follicles. So it now means after you shave, you have to go through the phase of having stubble, having all of that hair, and then you have to wait approximately 4 to 6 weeks before you can come back to wax again. So you just lengthen your process. So we usually recommend that. Then also too as well with waxing, it more or less brings your hair along the same growth levels, because we have different stages of hair growth on our body. We might not notice it, but there are typically 3 to 4 stages of hair growth. And so now when you shave, your next wax may or may not be clean. Your first 3 waxes actually may or may not be clean. And so you just start back all over from square one, basically.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I suspect, this is the spill, so we're spilling. So, I suspect, Anna, that's why I've gotten a particular caution from you as the therapist who deals with me and my waxing about shaving. So I wanted you to just reprimand the audience as well, because, I have gotten it from you about shaving, shaving before your wax appointment, your next wax appointment. And we've spoken a lot about waxing and, particularly Brazilians, but there are other services I know that are offered at Body Bliss for grooming in general, of the private area of a woman. So can you tell me a bit about what else is offered apart from waxing?
Well, we have not started as yet, but we are going to start laser hair removal soon. So we are just waiting on one more piece of equipment.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to begin laser hair removal.
Okay.
So that is the other option that is going to be offered pretty soon. Okay.
And what about for those ingrown hairs and like you mentioned earlier, any process that could help with that you could get at the spa? So we do have something called a vajacial, which is a vaginal facial. So that I remember the first time when we started vajacials, when we launched that service, that week we got the most phone calls we have ever gotten. Curiosity?
Within a short space of time, yes. Persons were very interested. Tell me exactly what is that? Yeah, so it's a facial for your vulva. So what we do It entails a cleanse, an exfoliating scrub, then also too as well extraction process where we extract ingrowns, blackheads, whiteheads. You can get blackheads and whiteheads down there. So yes, so it happens. Where persons do actually, vaginal acne is a real thing, apart from the ingrowns that persons get. And then we also tone and moisturize. And then there's also a mask that we utilize to help. We have different types of masks. So it can either tighten your skin, help with hyperpigmentation, help with dry skin. So we have a few different mask options that we can utilize. So basically it's a facial for your vagina.
Okay. So a facial, a vajacial, which is a facial, for the we say vagina, but the vulva, really, yes.
Correct.
To just keep it looking its best, I guess. Like we do for our faces.
Correct.
Are people comfortable with these services? Like, what's the comfort level like for your clients when they come in and they either are getting a wax or a vajacial? Is there a lot of nerves? What's the temperature like in the room normally?
I think for the first 3 minutes, a lot of clients they're concerned, they're worried. If they are not referred to us or they have not had a friend who came or experienced the service, for a lot of persons, it's a bit uncomfortable. You are completely bare in front of another woman, and so you're wondering, I wonder if she's judging me. What is happening? But for us, no. Like we tell clients very often, we understand you're here to do what you have to do, and we keep it professional. We're very professional. So we try to make the clients as comfortable as possible within the first 3 minutes, and then we just crack up, we kicks off, we laugh, we have a good time. And then after the first 3 minutes, they're like, I thought I would have been really uncomfortable, but I'm very cool with you.
Right.
So we try our utmost best to make clients feel comfortable. And we tell them, just think of it, we're not doctors, but you go to a gynecologist and you basically do the same thing. Or let's say, for instance, if you have to go to your doctor, or if you're in labor, you have how many doctors? Yes. So for persons who maybe have not had children, they're a bit more shy than others. And so we just try to get clients to relax within the first 3 minutes. And then after that, we just chat and have a good time and giggle and enjoy.
I can testify and I can support what you're saying because, I remember I was apprehensive at first about waxing. And then when I got in the groove of it, it was fine. So I can give a full testimonial to the professionalism, I experienced at Body Bliss Spa and how, for me, it became not a big deal, after that first time. So definitely, we started off by discussing that there are benefits to having pubic hair, but definitely if you have a preference of removing it or taming it or grooming it in some way, there are options available for you, and Body Bliss Spa offers quite a few options.
Correct.
Yes.
And apart from, I know the show is predominantly women, but we do also offer the same services for guys too as well. Yes, and a lot of men are now coming into
to manscape.
Correct. To Brazilians.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of guys, and even we've had guys who have done, we can no longer coin it a vajacial, but we do have guys who have done, because acne down there,
it's a thing.
Yeah, for both men and women. And both men and women also experience ingrowns. They also experience hyperpigmentation too as well. So we do provide the services for both men and women. And after the first, sometimes for guys, it's a little awkward on the first session, like, how is this going to go down? And then after the first 5-10 minutes, they're like, oh, okay, this is not bad. So we do have a steady male base of clients who come to get both services performed.
Okay, I am having so many thoughts and questions running through my mind right now, Anna, but I suspect that's a whole different show.
Topic.
That's a whole different show. So Anna, if, anybody in the audience would like to contact you or would like to come to Body Bliss Spa, tell me about your locations and your contact information.
Okay, so we have 2 convenient locations. Mm-hmm. We have a branch in Pt.2, Lizard Trail Pt.2. So that is at the back of what formerly was IGA supermarket.
Okay.
That's where we have 1 location, 1 branch. The contact number for that branch is 225-4909. Mm-hmm. So that's 225-4909. Then we also have a location in Roseau on Riverbank. Mm-hmm. Contact number again, same thing, 225-4909. Okay. We do have in terms of our opening hours, we are open from Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. in Roseau. And in Pt.2, we are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then also too as well, clients can also book online if you're ready to take that leap. Mm-hmm. So you can visit www.bodybliss.online and you can book your appointment there immediately without having to contact us.
Okay, nice. That's a nice
feature. Or there's also Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Okay.
So you can also look for us there.
Yes. So Lizard Trail, Pt.2, and the Riverbank. Roseau. 2 convenient locations. I like both. Anna, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Spill. I really appreciated your candor and your information. And let's see, how many Brazilians will be happening after this episode airs. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Trudy, for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Spill. Thank you also to our guests for joining us on this episode and sharing their expertise. And thank you to our sponsor, Anu Maje, a cookbook by Victoria Matthew, Kerwin George, and Ophelia George. If you liked this episode of The Spill, and I know you did, make sure to share it so that your friends and family can get a chance to look at it too. Remember, Women's Health Plus. Like, share, subscribe.